Okay, we seem to be recording, although Camtasia is not recording, but that doesn't surprise me. We are recording. The backup recording is not recording, but that's fine. And folks are arriving, and again, I used lead pages as the registration page for this webinar, so it was a little bit different, and it's weird because it doesn't tell me who is who on the webinar. It just says friend, so I have a lot of friends. Although I see Karen. Thanks, Karen, for being here. I appreciate that. And let's see. We're going to make sure that we are showing the screen and that everything is recording. Let me do a quick little force quit over here and get rid of Camtasia because that's not working. So much for that idea. So we will depend solely on the GoToWebinar recording and hope that that works. So just let me know if you can now see a screen that says Revenge of the Underdog Entrepreneur. Excellent, thank you. And I've got two screens going here, so I just want to make sure that everything is working properly. We're recording. It is almost the top of the hour, so we will get started in just a moment and jump right in. We got lots of good stuff, lots of good content. I'm so glad you're here. This is a brand new webinar, brand new material, and we'll see how it goes. First time. So feel free to type in your name and where you are listening in or watching from today, so I can say hello to you, because here it's just showing up as friend, which is weird. But anyway, so yeah, if you'd like to say hi, just type in your name and where you're from, where you are today, and I can get a sense of who's out there. And I see Tia in Boone, Atlanta, Georgia. Every time I say Atlanta, I start to move into a southern accent. My good friend Karen is here from South Carolina. Mary from Florida, hello. Paige in Albuquerque, one of my favorite places. Hi, Darlene. You can see the notes under the slide. That's okay, those are just my cheat notes. I'm going to go full screen in a moment. Barb from Illinois is here. Lisa from Midvale, Utah, hello. Good to see you, hear you again. John's from Portland, Oregon. Charles is coming in from Pennsylvania. Laura's in Indiana. We got folks all over the US of A. We got some folks from the villages in FLA, Florida. Stay dry, guys. It's going to get wet and windy down there. And up here, too. I'm in New Hampshire, about an hour north of Boston. So we are just about at the top of the hour, so I'm going to dive on in here and get going. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Let me go full screen, make sure we're recording, and we'll get started. So this is Revenge of the Underdog Entrepreneur, and I'm glad that you made it to this call or are listening to the recording, because I have 5 secrets to becoming an online rock star. And what this is going to help you do is get more visibility, more credibility, and more profitability online, so you can start making rock star revenue, what I call rock star revenue. So you may be wondering what I mean by underdog entrepreneur and why it's your turn to enjoy the same perks as the online rock stars. Well, when I was putting this presentation together, I coined the phrase underdog entrepreneur, because sometimes I feel like we're the 99% of small business owners who haven't yet achieved the kind of level of fame and fortune that we reserve. And you might fall into that kind of underdog-ish category if you feel like you're working your ass off, but you're on a treadmill, you're on a hamster wheel, you feel like you're doing all the right things, you're doing the things the gurus are telling you, but you're just not quite where you want to be yet. Or it could be that nobody knows you or not enough people know you, so you don't have enough clients in the door or cash in the bank. I've definitely been in that position, and it's no fun. You may also be wasting a lot of time on Facebook and social media because everyone told you that that was the promised land, and that all that promised return on investment isn't necessarily happening, and it's becoming more of a time suck than an investment. It could be you are an underdog entrepreneur if your marketing is kind of falling flat because your messaging is confusing or bland. So therefore your brand is somewhat non-existent. And it could also be that your attempts at video marketing have been sort of an exercise in frustration and futility because no one like me has shown you how to do it right, or at least how to do it consistently. But the good news is it doesn't have to be this way. You can go from obscurity to online rock star, and I'm going to explain how to do that in this webinar today. But first, I want to explain what is an online rock star. Now, a lot of times people say, oh man, you rock, you're totally cool and all that. And that's kind of cool, but just because you rock doesn't mean you rich. So in other words, you know, it's nice to have people tell you you rock, but it's also nice to have the revenue that goes with it. And rock stars have both. Rock stars are the folks online who are known and loved and respected. They have a ton of visibility and influence. They are sought after speakers and joint venture partners. They have throngs of fans and followers. When I first wrote this, I had a typo. It said thongs of fans and followers, but that's not what I meant. Throngs, as in lots of fans and followers, not thongs of followers. They are without exception financially successful and abundant. And I'm often wondering if this online rockstar thing is a secret club, and if it is, where the hell do I sign up? Because I want a piece of that action. But let me give you some examples of some real-life online rock stars. Now, I would consider, in my humble opinion, people like Allie Brown, online rock star, no doubt about it. Michael Port, my dear friend and mentor, online rock star, absolutely. Andrea J. Lee, thought leader, you may know her, very much an online rock star kind of person. Certainly my friend Mari Smith, of Facebook fame, an online rock star. My friend Nick Unsworth, who has made a big splash in the social media scene. You'll be hearing a lot more about him. And another friend and mentor, James Roche, who I'm actually doing some coaching with right now, is an online rock star. Now, this could just be some kind of weird coincidence, but all of these people are my clients. I've done work for all of these folks. Okay, it's not really that much of a coincidence. But again, really, if you're ready to join the club, that's great. But let's compare the typical underdog with the typical rock star. And I want to point out that this has nothing to do with experience or expertise or even luck. It's really more about positioning and packaging. So let's take a look at the typical online underdog versus the online rock star. Now, the online underdog is someone who is still struggling in their business. They may be experiencing roller coaster revenue, good month, bad month, medium month, you just never know. It's probable that you don't have a real strong visibility strategy. It's also possible that you have a lackluster marketing plan, and you might be an online underdog if you find yourself with a lack of focus. On the other hand, online rock stars are obviously well known online. They have multiple streams of income and revenue streams coming in. They are very visible and enjoy expert status. They have, without exception, solid marketing and branding plans. So that's what sort of separates the underdog from the rock star. So I'm going to pop over to the question box just for a second before we come back and find out if there's any questions or issues with the recording. Everyone can still see my screen and hear my voice. Somebody's asking what's wrong with having a throng of followers. Nothing at all. Throngs are good. Throngs mean a lot. I don't see any other questions, so we're going to move on here and come back to the thong of followers. Come back to the presentation. So here we go. Oops, we already went through this slide, didn't we, about the underdog versus rockstar. So let's get to the fun slide with a little bit of music, a little musical interlude and a little break here.
A little less conversation, a little more action.
I could listen to that for hours. That was just that was Elvis. A little more conversation, a little less conversation, no, a little more action. Yes, so as you can probably tell by now, this is not your typical webinar. So you are in the right place if you are sick and tired of too goddamn much information, pardon my French, too much hype, too many empty promises from all the gurus, and the gurus just seem to be getting richer, and we're getting, I guess, more experience, which isn't necessarily richer. So I say it's time for Revenge of the Underdog Entrepreneur, and that's why I came up with this funny little title, and that's what this is all about. So what I want to give you over the next half hour or so is real training and real content. I want to give you some practical ideas you can use right away, and I'm going to be saving some of the best material for last, so please stay tuned, or if you're listening to the recording, listen to the whole thing. It's not that long, and it's packed with info. And I really want to give you a ton of value and provide some key information. The good news is, as folks that have been on with me before know, I always try to over-deliver, and there's nothing to buy on this webinar. There's no sales pitch. There's no offer. There's no upsell. Put your credit card away. So this is kind of a freebie. So enjoy taking the information, and let's move right along. So let me first say, who is this webinar for? Well, you have to have a real business, and you have to be ready to step it up. It can't be just a hobby or something that you're sort of dabbling with. You have to be ready for online rock star status. That means you got to be ready to put yourself out there and get visibility and get clients. This is for you if you are the type of person who makes and keeps their commitments, and you're willing and able to play big. That is who this training is for. Who it is not for, wah, wah. Remember Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live? Well, this is not the right training for whiners and complainers. It's not for anyone with a victim mentality. Oh, poor me. It's not for people looking for a quick fix or a magic bullet. And it's not for folks who make excuses. Tried that, didn't work. And it's not for people who are not willing to do the work. So if you're a Debbie Downer, you're in the wrong place. And I really wish I had my sound effect that went wah, wah. But I think I do it pretty good. So here is what we're going to cover over the next few minutes. 5 secrets to becoming an online rock star. That was the headline and the promise in the title, obviously. And the 3 biggest mistakes that underdog entrepreneurs make. We're also going to talk about why a core positioning is the linchpin for your business. I'll explain what that is and why it's important. And we will look at some ways to attract raving fans who become ideal clients. what I want to do in this webinar with you is show you how to turn know, like, and trust into clients, cash, and freedom. And that is how you make rockstar revenue. And that's really the bottom line here. We want to stay in business. We want to help people, but we got to make money to do that. So here's the challenge. The big problem that I think we are all facing is that you're working harder than ever, but you're just not breaking through to where you want to be, because we're all on complete information overload. It is a really crowded, competitive, oversaturated marketplace. So as a result, it seems like no one is listening to you. There's too much noise out there. It could be that because you are working so hard, you feel like your business is taking over your life, and that kind of sucks. And here is the other harsh reality, and I know this may hurt to say it, but no one cares. At least no one cares until you make them care. So here's the deal. Here's the poor woman, the 50s woman, with too much noise, too many emails, too much competition. It's just too much. So the problem is, it's likely that no one is opening your emails. Now, I know this. My email rates went from 20% to 11% open rates in a year. You know, you can't fill your classes or workshops, or it's a hell of a lot harder to do it. Nobody cares about your freebie offer. Maybe you're not getting as many conversions on your homepage. No one's watching your videos on YouTube. It's demoralizing. Maybe hardly anyone attends your webinars. Let me see how many people are on this webinar. I'll pop back over there. So I had like 300 people register, and on live, I'm being totally transparent here, I've got about 60. So, you know, it's not, you know, rocket science. These are just the real problems that we are all facing, and I want to try and help you get through at least some of them. So it reminds me of my old friend Frank Sinatra. Had an album that came out, I can't believe I found this, record, vinyl album, in 1959 called No One Cares. And that's kind of how it is out there right now. No one cares. It's very sad, really. But one of the reasons it's not so much that no one cares, it really is more because of email overload and how you can stand out. I mean, CNBC says we're spending 13 hours a week just opening our email. So this all means that, you know, you've got the nearly impossible task of standing out online, right? Is it crowded in here, or is it me? Email open rates are plummeting. According to Unbounce, people are more likely to survive a plane crash than to click on a banner ad. That's a kind of crazy statistic, so I hope you're not doing too many banner ads. Another source, MeQuota, says that 66% of new subscribers in an average list had no opens or clicks. So people sign up for your stuff and then don't even open the email. That's nuts. And HubSpot says 69% of subscribers say that too many emails is the #1 reason they unsubscribe. So how do you break through and get your message out in an environment like this? How can you break through so that you can impact more people and ultimately make more money? Because you want to stay in business, right? And, you know, it's one thing to be transparent. Everybody says, oh, you should be transparent. But you don't want to be friggin' invisible online. That's no good. If people can't see or hear you, if they don't know you, they can't buy from you. And I've been there, and I hated that. So let me take you back on a little time travel here, back to about the year 2000. And I was, still am actually, shy and introverted, but I was completely unknown online. I was really what you call a reluctant online entrepreneur. I had a cool .com job. The bottom fell out, and I had to, basically fend for myself and become an online entrepreneur and an online marketer. I didn't know where to begin. I had no friggin' idea where to start with all this. So I started attending classes and following gurus, and every guru had a different magic bullet. There were the people that said you got to do blogs every day. There were other people that said you got to write articles. There were the folks who said it's all about social media. There were people talking about email marketing, content marketing, speaking. There were other people that said, oh, if you just write a book, everything will be wonderful. If you just do SEO, everything will be fine, yada, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. All the magic bullets turned into magic bullshit, I think. That's my personal opinion. Call it what you want. So I kind of went back to basics and went back to my own marketing and branding roots. So, I had a good background. I worked for about 20 years in the TV industry and worked in LA, and I used what I learned at Fox, at a division of Fox, who, honestly practically invented guerrilla marketing back in the day when they were the fourth network. I developed a strategic online marketing plan. I used video marketing to create a distinctive and memorable brand identity. This was actually a little after 2001. My dates are a little bit off, but you get the idea. And I created a core position. I started to develop what I call a core position. And the beautiful thing about that was the strong positioning led to visibility, credibility, and profitability. And that, for me, is when everything changed and kind of went from zero to hero. And no, I didn't really have Marilyn Monroe carrying pictures of me, but you get the idea. This is the visibility slide. So what we're talking about here is the ability to have fun, freedom, and flexibility in your life. So when I had that core positioning, and when I started to do those things, those right marketing things, and I'll tell you the 5 steps in a moment, I was able to travel more. There's my family in Costa Rica. I was able to follow my son all over Schitt's Creation as he played baseball. In fact, this webinar was originally scheduled for 8 p.m. and I had to move it to 2 p.m. and I apologize for the inconvenience for that if you're on live. But the reason I had to move this webinar is because my son is in the Final Four in New Hampshire for high school baseball. He is a freshman playing on the varsity team with seniors, so hell yes, I want to be able to go to his games, and I want a lifestyle that allows me to do that. And I want to be able to hang out with my kids, my lovely 15-year-old twins. Well, most of the time they're lovely. And, okay, let's see if I can get through this part. I wanted to be able to spend time with my beloved Stella the pug, who just passed away this week, and I'm still very emotional about it. I love, love, love that dog, and was so glad that I got to work at home and spend time with that adorable little pug. So if you want that, frankly, you have to become a rock star. And that means you need to stand out and be noticed, right? You need to have a unique and memorable brand. Oops, where's my other bullet? Come on. There we go. You need to get your message heard and acted upon, right? You need to break out from the crowd and achieve online fame and fortune. That is going to lead to more clients, more cash, and more freedom. So the outcomes of a strong position, also known as a rock star, are the ability to stand out and be noticed. And let's not forget those awesome groupies who, in effect, are really just your buyers and customers and fans. So let me give you, again, a little sense of that rock star lifestyle. There we are at our lovely little Costa Rica place that we stayed a few years ago. And there's the kids and the dogs. And there, again, is my my little friend Stella the pug, who has gone on to pug heaven this week. So in essence, essentially, what we want to do is go from No One Cares, the 1959 Frank Sinatra album, to Nice and Easy, which was an album he put out a few years later. You remember, Nice and Easy Does It? So how do we go from No One Cares to Nice and Easy? Well, before I tell you exactly how to do that, and before I give you the 5 secrets, I want to point out a couple of very common mistakes. And the first one is that most folks focus on the absolute wrong priorities. Okay? I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Most folks just tend to focus on the wrong stuff. Another mistake is the mistake that we all seem to be chasing the next big magic software, plugin, or gadget. And I'll reveal the biggest mistake, the third one, in a few minutes. But for now, let's focus on the first 2. The wrong focus. Now, here's a question that I get as a video person all the time. So, which camera should I use? Well, asking which camera is the wrong question. I mean, who cares which camera you use? How is having the right camera going to make you more money? You know, back when Bill Clinton was elected, the campaign focused on the economy. This is going back a few years. And they had an expression in the campaign that said, "It's the economy, stupid." It was all about the economy. Well, in this case, it's the strategy. Okay? It's not the camera. So the second mistake that most folks make is bright, shiny object syndrome. And if you think just having Easy Video Suite or any other plugin is going to solve all your marketing and branding problems, you are in for a rude awakening. If you think that, you know, the right WordPress plugin is going to solve all your problems, they're not. You know, it's nice. I love bright, shiny objects too, but this is why you get overwhelmed and lose focus on the important stuff. Until somebody makes a WordPress plugin that sends a client to my front door, ringing my bell, saying, "I want to write you a check," it's the wrong focus. Okay? So, how then do you avoid those problems and mistakes and focus on the right stuff so that you can achieve true rockstar status? How do you avoid getting bogged down and chasing bright, shiny objects? Well, it really starts with the 5 secrets to becoming an online rock star. And I'm going to share those with you. And I want to also tell you that each of the 5 secrets to becoming an online rock star have one thing in common. And that thing is positioning. The common thread in all of the 5 steps or 5 secrets is positioning. So let me go through this quickly, and then I'll sort through them one by one. As far as rockstar positioning, these are the 5 steps we were talking about. They are brand positioning, content positioning, social media positioning, video positioning, and sales and marketing positioning. And I want to give you a few details on each one of these steps, a tip for each one of these steps to get you started, and some information on why it's important. Now, I had, you know, my coaches and folks telling me I'm giving out too much content and too much information, and I should just scratch the surface. But I want to go a little deeper and give you some content, and I want to, you know, give you some useful stuff here. So, damn the torpedoes, and I know I'm probably giving away more than I should on a free webinar, but the hell with it. So let's start with brand positioning, okay? It really does all start with a breakout brand. It's the foundation of everything else that you'll do. If you get this wrong at the beginning, everything else is going to be kind of screwy and a waste of time. Having a brand position defines how you want to be known in the world and in business. And as I like to say, brands like blondes have more fun and more customers. So here's a branding tip from my friend and mentor, Michael Port, the author of Book Yourself Solid. Develop your who and do what statement and your why you do it statement. And this comes directly from Book Yourself Solid. I am a Book Yourself Solid certified coach, by the way. So a who and do what statement basically is whom you help and what you help them do. Who is your target market? What is the result that you get for them? If you cannot define your target market and the one big result you get for them, then we need to talk. So for instance, it's like I help your target market here make, achieve, have, get, find, and then the result. So if somebody asks you what you do, maybe you're at a networking meeting and somebody says, so what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm a coach. That doesn't mean anything to anyone. Try a who and do what statement that would be more like, I help unknown entrepreneurs become online rock stars. So that might be my who and do what statement. I help unknown entrepreneurs become online rock stars. It says so much more than I'm a coach. So again, along with that, you might want to develop a tagline that says something about who you are. And again, a tagline can be something that you use on your website, in your marketing, in your branding, because a tagline and a who and do what statement are slightly different. You wouldn't want your tagline to be, I help online entrepreneurs become online rock stars. So if my Uncle Sal, that's not really him, by the way, that's the guy from Sopranos. If my Uncle Sal the loan shark had a tagline, a memorable tagline, it might be something like, I'm the guy to see when somebody needs a broken knee. Okay, I say this in jest, okay, because I come from a questionable Italian family. But that is a tagline, okay? So let's look at content positioning now. Okay, we've scratched the surface a little bit, talked about brand positioning, how important it is. The next step comes with content positioning, because once you've got a brand to stand on, a foundation, you have to have products and services to sell. And that means creating compelling content consistently. Wow, that's a tongue twister, and I said the whole thing. Because content always was and always will be king. Content is still king. Content helps you define and reinforce your brand, and most importantly, it's where the revenue begins. So you've got to have content positioning. Some might call this a signature product or a signature service. I'm going to pop over to the question area for a second and just take a quick look, because I want to make sure that I can see everything and that everything is looking okay. Somebody said ideas I don't have to wait years to benefit from. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Let's see. No concerns on the rescheduling. Yep, you can get the recording if you do have to jump off. Stand out in a good way. Yes. Somebody's talking about sales avatars. That's very important. Somebody said sorry about Stella. My friends Al Reese and Jack Trout would enjoy this talk on positioning. Yes, that is like the seminal, the book, Positioning, The Battle for Your Mind. I went back to that when I was creating this presentation. It's kind of like going back to basics. And it's a book, it must have been out in like the 80s because I read it in college. And it is really, you know, the book about positioning. So I'm glad that you picked up on that. Somebody said that I cut out. Okay, sorry to hear about Stella. Thank you. I did love her very much. Question, start with product or pitch program first or both simultaneously. Whether you have a product or a program is not important. It's how you want to define, as long as that product and program defines your brand and fits with your brand. So you may do a coaching program, or you may have a product. Typically, it's good if you are new to your target market and folks are just learning about you to start with a lower priced or low barrier to entry product. So I think that covers the questions for now. I'm going to pop back over to the recording here. We're going to have to go through our content positioning slide again. Sorry about that. All right, content is king, and it's where the revenue begins. So here's the content tip for you. Create first impression content that is too good to be true. Make it absolutely irresistible. In other words, be so good that they can't ignore you. So as you create your content, and somebody was just asking whether they start with product or service first, that's not as important as that it is valuable, great first impression content. So you want to create compelling content. You want to make your offer an irresistible offer, usually for your freebie or your opt-in on your homepage. So make it a total no-brainer for them to sign up, because really it all starts with that opt-in. You want to get the person's name and email, obviously, so that you can begin to build that relationship. Get them in your camp and then wow them. And by the way, sign up for my newsletter. That's so 2008. It just will not cut it anymore. Nobody wants another friggin' newsletter in their inbox. You have to have an offer that is compelling and engaging and irresistible, because like Mom said, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So offer something of value for your content. Don't be afraid to give away your best stuff. A 3-part video series, perhaps, might be a higher perceived value than just a special report or a newsletter or an e-zine. Perhaps it's a high-end ebook or tip sheet. It could be something that's interactive, like an assessment or a quiz or a checklist. On Bortone.com, I have a video persona quiz that tells you what kind of video you should be doing based on your personality, so it's very interactive. And again, help your audience consume the content. You can do that with your autoresponders once people sign up. You know, hey, did you get the quiz? What was your score? How did you do? You know, make sure that you engage and help your audience consume that content and keep them coming back for more. So, for example, one of my opt-in pages is at bestvideotips.com. It is a very simple page that I created with lead pages. I don't know about the background, but it's a puppy, so what the hell. But on this opt-in page, I think really the thing to take away from this is that there's only one thing you can do on this page. You can opt in and get the ebook. That's it. There are no other, distractions. You can look at the pretty picture and all that crap, but this is a true squeeze page. It is simple. I hope it is compelling. It's a free ebook. It's a really nice looking high-end ebook with great tips, and I tried to keep the page at bestvideotips.com as simple as possible. So that's just one example of an opt-in page. An opt-in offer. I have another new opt-in offer. I haven't even created the autoresponders yet for it, though, but it's at easyvideostudio.com. And what it is it's a PDF. People are always asking me, what equipment do I use? How do I set up my studio? What lights do I use? What's the brand of such and such? So I just put it into a free PDF report at easyvideostudio.com. And it is basically, I'm sort of trying to give folks what they're asking for. It's nothing fancy, but it's just, information and links to the equipment that I use. So again, try and make your offers compelling, engaging, and don't be afraid to give this stuff away. I mean, I probably could have sold this as a $27 ebook, but frankly, I'd rather just get the folks engaged and opted in. So now let's move on to number 3, which is social media positioning, or what I call smart social media. Now, obviously, social media is a key visibility tool, and it's not going away. Now, the good news about it is it doesn't have to be a time suck. A lot of social media can be automated because you do want that visibility, but you don't want to spend all day doing it by hand. The other good news about social media is it really works when you do it right. And lastly, as a sidebar, I also want to mention that you should consider YouTube a social media site along with Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, Twitter, whatever else you may be using. So don't neglect and don't forget YouTube as a social site. Here is the social media tips section here. Again, trying to offer some value and tips that you can use. Flaming hot tips. Ooh, I like that slide. And the 3 tips are: pick 3, spend 30. I'll explain that in a moment. Use the 80-20 rule, and be social smart. Let me explain what I mean by that. Pick 3, spend 30. Pick just 3 social networks to focus on. For me, it's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For you, it might be LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google+. Doesn't matter, but pick 3 and spend no more than 30 minutes a day engaging, sharing, updating. Don't get sucked into this spending hours and hours and hours on Facebook. It's not necessary. And use the 80-20 rule. What that means is 80-20 content rule. 80% of your social media should be giving and sharing and about them, about your audience. 20% should be about you or promoting your own stuff. That's the 80-20 rule. And finally, automate what you can so that you don't waste time, and use smart tools like Buffer or Hootsuite or TweetDeck or BuzzSpice, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a moment. Another way to be social smart is to use photos and graphics, because visuals are a lot more fun and shareable. They can help you leverage and repurpose your social content. You can use the same content on different platforms. You can put the same information on Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and LinkedIn and Google+. No problems there. And whenever possible, make your posts and turn your text into graphics. Use sites like Quozio.com, recitethis.com, or iliketoquote.com to make your posts visual. These are going to get shared a lot more on Facebook and Pinterest and even Google+, and it's just much more compelling than text alone. Let me give you one other tool, one more smart social tip, and that is a new tool called BuzzSpice. And they say it's 4 minutes a day to grow your business on Facebook. BuzzSpice is a way to automate your content. Right now it's free, so check it out. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just there. And BuzzSpice will find content for you based on parameters that you give it, and will post it on your Facebook fan page or your Facebook business page for you. So for me, I have things about online marketing or video marketing, and it finds that stuff and posts it on my Facebook business page. So it's automated, and it's easy, and it's valuable content. So check out buzzspice.com while it's still free and still in beta, and see if it's something that you may want to use to help automate your social media. All right, let's move on to number 4, create kick-ass videos. Now, I don't have to tell you that this is the game changer. It is the fastest path to online visibility. It's what I've used. It's what many other successful entrepreneurs have used to really kind of burst on the scene. It builds know, like, and trust almost overnight. It puts you into a whole different playing field. And if you don't believe me, then believe the research firm iView Digital, who says that using video on landing pages can actually increase conversion by 80%. So video is a game changer. You gotta love video. It works on so many different levels. It improves search engine optimization. It drives web traffic. It increases sales and conversions. It creates visibility. It builds your brand. I mean, one tool that can do all that stuff is very, very powerful. So here's your kick-ass video tip to go into our video section. And that is to start with 2 or 3 must-have videos. I consider must-have videos to be a welcome video on your homepage, a tips series or expert series video that you can put on your homepage or on YouTube, and a signature product video or a promotional video for your key content. So start with that. Don't try and do 100 videos in a month and what some of the other gurus say, oh, just make a shitload of videos and put them up. Focus on the important first few videos. And if you need help with that, you can contact me. But for now, since it's getting late here, I want to move on to number 5 in the 5 steps, which is sales and marketing positioning. And this is where it really all comes together in one cohesive strategy. Marketing really makes all the difference. It's the make or break for your business. And it really does all come down to your message and your core positioning, because you have to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And again, I go back to the Book Yourself Solid strategy, and folks who are on the call from Book Yourself Solid or Michael Port's Alliance are going to be very familiar with this, but I always come back to the 6 core self-promotion strategies that we use in the Book Yourself Solid system. And I'm going to share those briefly with you here. I'm not going to go into much detail. We can do that another time. But I do want to give you a quick overview of the 6 self-promotion strategies. I'm going to go back to the questions for a moment just to see that we're all still here. First, you need to define who your target is. Yes, absolutely. Is this being recorded? Yes, and I will make the recording available, God willing. That's about it for the questions here. Looks like we're in pretty good shape, so we shall continue. If you missed the first part of this presentation, it is recorded. Again, we are focusing on content. We are not selling anything, but do stay tuned because some of the best content comes at the end here, and we're getting close. So the 6 core self-promotion strategies are, number 1, networking. And we use the 50-50 networking rule. And what that means is focusing 50% of your networking efforts on prospects and potential clients, but focus the other 50% on colleagues, potential joint venture partners, strategic alliances, people who may not ever be clients, but who can do you and you can do them a lot of good. So that's the 50-50 networking rule. The next one is direct outreach, or what Michael Port calls earned attention. And direct outreach is just what it says. It is keeping in touch with clients, prospects, colleagues, friends, all that stuff. Past clients, it's simply keeping in touch. And I'll share a tool that makes it very easy to do that in a moment. Number 3 is referrals. That may seem obvious. And the tool there is, the tip there is that you have to give before you get. You have to offer before you take. And that's kind of just common sense. Number 4 is speaking strategy. And that could be speaking live or speaking on a webinar like this, speaking from behind a computer. And what we use in the Book Yourself Solid system, and this is a funny little acronym here, but it stands for always have something to invite people to offer. So you should have and always have something to invite people offer. Mine is my Lose Labs that I do every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a free webinar where I offer tips and tools. And again, it is just a way to invite people into my tribe. If I see somebody at a networking event, if I want to invite them to something, it's a way for folks to engage with me for free on a consistent and regular basis. So think about what you might have as an always have something to invite people to offer. Number 5 is the writing strategy as a self-promotion strategy, and that could be anything from writing a blog to a book to a video script. And if you are doing any combination of that, repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. A blog article can become a video. A video can become a Facebook post. So just continue to repurpose that content so you don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel. And finally, number 6 is the web strategy for the 6 self-promotion strategies. And there are 3 simple benchmarks that, again, I learned from Michael Port and Book Yourself Solid on what to ask when you are creating any page on any website. For every page on the website, you need to ask, who do you want to visit this website? How are you going to get them there? What do you want them to do when they get there? Who's coming? What do you want them to do? How are you going to get them to do it? That's it. 3 things for the website. Again, we can get a lot deeper into this at another time, but for now I wanted to give you a quick overview of the 6 self-promotion strategies, and now I want to also give you a networking and direct outreach tip, and that is a fantastic tool called Contactually. I should be using my affiliate link here, but I don't have it handy, so the hell with it. Contactually is a great tool that you can use for free. There's a $20 a month version, there's a free version, but it helps you stay in touch with your contacts. And it's a great tool for really keeping your feet to the fire as far as keeping in touch with your contacts, colleagues, customers, clients, and you can divide folks into different buckets like clients or future prospects, and Contactually will remind you to keep in touch with them with an email or to make an introduction or to send them a note. So that's a quick tip for direct outreach. Now, earlier I mentioned that underdog entrepreneurs tend to make 3 big mistakes. One of them was bright, shiny object. Another one was having the wrong focus. And that last mistake that underdog entrepreneurs make that I promised to give you before the end of the call is that most have no clear core positioning. Some people call this branding, but without core positioning, you don't have a solid foundation on which to market your business. You've got to have that core positioning. So core positioning drives leads. Leads lead to clients. Clients lead to cash. It's a pretty basic, simple equation. Your positioning is the foundation of everything else you do. Core positioning drives lead generation. It attracts clients. It generates revenue. It's the secret sauce. So it's how you go from no one cares to nice and easy. And I wish I had the songs, but I'm afraid that Frank Sinatra's estate would sue me if I played the songs on my webinar. So nobody messes with the chairman. So there you go. So that is how you go from no one cares to nice and easy. And that's also how you go from Hollywood to Tuscany to Costa Rica. Here's me and Sophie in Tuscany at the villa we rented. Love to have that free time to be able to do that. There's the kiddies in Hollywood. There's me ziplining in Costa Rica. That's what it's all about. It's turning know, like, and trust into clients, cash, and freedom. And there are my lovely glitter twins on the beach in Costa Rica. So now let's shift the focus a little bit as we wrap up here to, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. That's my best Marlon Brando godfather. I want to offer you, because a lot of folks ask about, we can only go so deep into this core positioning and into the 5 secrets on a webinar like this. So I want to offer you a free sit down with the godfather of video marketing. That's me, by the way. And you may be asking, will this system, will these 5 steps and this way to position your business work for you? Now, you may be beyond that, or you may need to go back and look at your positioning and your branding again. But I invite you to apply for one of our core positioning sessions. They're totally free. There's no catch. It's a free session to work on your core position, which includes your target market, your content positioning, all that kind of stuff. And you can see how to apply this to your particular situation in your particular business. You'll speak directly with me, and we'll look specifically at your business and your situation. So it's not a cookie cutter kind of thing. Now, I charge about $500 an hour for consulting when I do corporate consulting. So I take this time and these conversations very seriously, and I get really pissed when somebody doesn't show up for one and they sign up for one. But I know you wouldn't do that. So all you need to do is go to bit.ly/Lou session, and you'll fill out a real short survey, and then you can apply for one of these core positioning sessions. So who should apply? Well, if it should be people who are in business and who are serious about their business. There's really no point in wasting my time or yours if you're not committed to success. So if you're a tire kicker or a dabbler, please, let's not waste each other's time. Provide as much detail as possible on the application, and be ready to get to the next level of Rockstar success. I will put this link in the chat box. Hold on a second so that you can go there and apply for a session. Hold on a second. Let me find the chat box. See if I can get this right. http://bit.ly/Lou session. I don't think it's cap appropriate or anything. Oh, there we go. So it brings you into this session application, and you just fill in a few boxes here, and you're on your way. It's that easy. bit.ly/Lou session. I want to see. I want to go back to the questions in a moment, but let me just finish the last couple of slides here on who should apply. We did that one. Oh, I also want to emphasize that there is no cost and there is no catch, and it's not some big bait and switch kind of thing. It is a free session, but again, I can only talk to so many people. There's only so many hours in the day. So if you're interested, don't wait. I know slots will fill up fast. So fill out the application at bit.ly/Lou session, and once you do that, I'll be prepared to deliver some good, solid info for you, because by answering those questions, I'll be able to start to dig into your core positioning. And it really is for a limited time and limited availability. I'm not kidding, because I don't like to work as much in July. I want to get all this done in the next few weeks, and then be able to go watch my son play baseball all summer. So bit.ly/Lou session. Before I jump over to questions, which I will, we're getting towards the top of the hour, I want to share something that I can't remember who said it. It might have been Zig Ziglar, but it's always stuck with me, and it is, what got you here isn't going to get you there. So if you feel like you need that bridge to get to rock star status, I'm happy to help you, but you have to sort of ask yourself some tough love questions, and that is whether or not you're really serious and committed to doing what it takes to be successful in your business. Another tough love question is, how much longer are you willing to do the things that are no longer working, and how long will you go without having the money, the impact, and the freedom that you know is possible? Shit, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm hanging out in my villa in Tuscany with Sophie and Spencer. So go here, apply for a session. We'll talk. We'll see if this will work for you. Free, no obligation, core positioning session at bit.ly/Lou session. Again, make the commitment to yourself and your family, and you will have a life of, what does this say? I'd rather have a life of oh wells than a life of what ifs. So that's what Online Rockstars is all about. Please join me and get the help you need. Talk to me at bit.ly.com/Lou session. Let me go into some questions here if there are any. And thank you so much for being here. Let's take a quick look. Is this being recorded? Yes, it is. Always enjoy your webinars, says Raymond. Thank you, Raymond. Oh, Lou rocks. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Referrals. They can't love you without giving them candy first. Awesome. Thank you for that. Yes, referrals is a key strategy. What page has your affiliate link for Contactually? I'll have to put that up in the recording because I don't know it off the top of my head. But thank you for asking. But check out Contactually. It's pretty cool. Good luck at the baseball game. Thank you. Beautiful children. Thank you. The mommy must be beautiful. Yes, they certainly didn't get their good looks from me. So the kids got their mom's good genes, good looks, and good sports genes, I think, because that wasn't me. I was the musician and the troublemaker. Okay, so here's somebody that says, I've been on your list forever. This is the first time I've tuned into a webinar, and I'm so glad I did. I've learned so much today. Oh, my God, that's so nice. You were the answer to my prayers. Oh, thank you. That made my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying that. Well, sign up for a session, and we'll talk. Thanks, Lou. Great stuff. You rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was helpful. Good job. Cool. Well, thanks. I guess we did what we set out to do. We did it in under an hour. So thanks again. I hope this has been helpful. There will be a recording. I probably won't get it up until tomorrow. Like I said, no pitch, no upsell, just an offer to talk with me for a half hour or so and look at your core positioning at bit.ly. It's in the chat box here, bit.ly/Lou session. That will take you to a form here that you fill out and send it in from its Google Docs. Nice, easy form. And I'll get that and be in touch, or my assistant will be in touch, and we'll set up a time in the next few weeks to chat. So please go right ahead and apply. I'd be delighted to speak with you. It'd be fun to talk and catch up. And I just want to see what you're up to and how we can help with your core positioning. So remember, we want to go from no one cares to nice and easy. Let's do it. Let me know how I can help. Go to that link and apply. I'll leave this up for a couple of minutes. In the meantime, have a great rest of the week and weekend, or if you're listening to the recording, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to me, sign up for the session, or email me at vip@loubortone.com. Last look at the questions. I think we're good. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye for now.